Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakha Kudash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Ecclesiasticus, the 24th chapter. Wisdom shall praise herself and shall glory in the midst of her people. In the congregation of the Most High shall she open her mouth and triumph before his power. I came out of the mouth of the Most High, right? In Wisdom of Solomon, the 7th chapter, it mentions that she is the breath of the Most High, and covered the earth as a cloud. I dwelt in high places, and my throne is in a cloudy pillar, that is, in the heavens. I alone compassed the circuit of heaven and walked in the bottom of the deep, right? So wisdom can be found, right? It says she is more moving than any motion, right? And she, by reason of her pureness, she passeth through all things. So we have wisdom that can be found in the heavens, in the way the Lord has, ordered and set up things, and likewise even in the bottom of the ocean, in the waves of the sea, and in all the earth, and in every people and nation I got a possession. So there's wisdom everywhere on the earth. With all these I sought rest, and in whose inheritance shall I abide? So the Creator of all things gave me a commandment, and he that made me caused my tabernacle to rest, and said, Let thy dwelling be in Jacob, and thine inheritance in Israel. See, and I think it's let's see, Psalm maybe 148. Let's take a look. Yeah, Psalm chapter. No, it's not this one. It's is, or maybe it's 149. Mm, 147. That's what it is. Psalm 147 and 20. Well, 19. He sheweth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. His word, his statutes, his judgments, they all are a part of wisdom, the wisdom that comes from the Lord. He hath not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. See, so that's why here is mentioning that wisdom, the Lord calls wisdom to rest and dwell with Jacob, which is Israel, and that inheritance in Israel. He created me from the beginning, before the world, and I shall never fail. In the holy tabernacle I served before him, and so was I established in Zion. Likewise in the beloved city he gave me rest, and in Jerusalem was my power. And I took root in an honorable people. Even in the when you take root, you're planted within, right? So wisdom is planted within Israel. And it says here, even in the portion of the Lord's inheritance, that is Israel. I was excellent like a cedar in Lebanon, and as a cypress tree upon the mountains of Hermon. I was exalted like a palm tree in Engadi, and as a rose plant in Jericho, as a fair olive tree in a pleasant field, and grew up as a plain tree by the water. This, just describing the beauty and excellency of wisdom. I gave a sweet smell like cinnamon. These are all desirable traits, okay, and is likened onto how desirable wisdom is. And as Paulithus, and I yielded a pleasant odor like the best myrrh, as galbanum and onyx and sweet storax, and as the fume of frankincense in the tabernacle. And as the turpentine tree, I stretched out my branches, and my branches are the branches of honor and grace. And this is how Israel got raised up, as a nation, right? What did Moses say in Deuteronomy about the the laws the Lord gave us? This is our wisdom in the sight of the nations. See, and this was only given to us. As the vine brought I forth pleasant savor, and my flowers are the fruit of honor and riches. I am the mother of fair love, and fear and knowledge and holy hope. I hope so. When you are a child of wisdom, you're gonna have that love. You're gonna fear the Lord. You're gonna have the knowledge, and you're gonna have the holy hope. I, therefore, being eternal, am given to all my children, which are named of him. Of who? Of the Lord. Come unto me, all ye that be desirous of me. So if you desire wisdom, come unto her. and fill yourselves with my fruits, right? Partake of wisdom. Enjoy the benefits that come when you lay hold on wisdom. For my memorial is sweeter than honey, and mine inheritance than the honeycomb, right? And the things wisdom has been known for, you can read the writings of many different authors, and they all go into the same point, okay, about wisdom, about how pleasant she is, about how greatly she is to be desired. It says here, they that eat me shall yet be hungry, and they that drink me shall yet be thirsty. Now, what this doesn't mean that you eat wisdom or you partake in wisdom, and then you're not gonna be satisfied. What it means is that you're going to desire more. Okay, and that's how you grow in wisdom. Let's read that in the GNTD, verse 21. Eat me, and you will hunger for more. Drink me, and you will thirst for more. And ultimately, those that hunger and thirst for righteousness and thirst for wisdom, it takes wisdom to do so, right? That's why when you eat of her, you're going to hunger for more. He that obeyeth me shall never be confounded, and they that work by me shall not do amiss. See, so whatever you put your hand to, it will succeed if you do it through wisdom. All these things are the book of the covenant of the Most High, even the law which Moses commanded for an heritage, right, onto the congregations of Jacob. See, and that's how wisdom dwelt within us. That's why he said, this is your wisdom in the sight of the nations. Faint not to be strong in the Lord, that he may confirm you. Cleave onto him, right? Join tightly onto the Lord. Don't separate yourself from the Lord. For the Lord Almighty is God alone, and beside him there is no other Savior. He filleth all things with his wisdom, as Pison and as Tigris. These are the bodies of water mentioned in Genesis. And as Tigris in the time of the new fruits, right? Which I believe Tigris is well, it kept its name actually, right? Tigris. You have the Tigris and the Euphrates. In Genesis, I think it's mentioned as Hiddekel. He maketh the understanding to abound like Euphrates, and as Jordan in time of the harvest. He basically this is likening you overflowing with wisdom, right? As these bodies of water that overflow in their times. He maketh the doctrine of knowledge appear as the light, so it's clearly visible, it's plain unto those that have wisdom. And as Gihon in the time of vintage, right, in the time of gathering. Verse 828, the first man knew her not perfectly. That's referring back to Adam, right? He didn't know her perfectly, because he had the wisdom, but it wasn't in perfection. That's why he went off. No more shall the last find her out, right? But there is one who has, which is Yahushai, as Yahushai. For her thoughts, and that's the Messiah. For her thoughts are more than the sea, and her counsels profounder than the great deep. So the thoughts, the deepness of wisdom is deeper than the deepest depths of the ocean. That's why Paul mentioned in Romans 11:33. Let's go there real quick. It says, oh, the depth of the riches, right? The depth of the riches, both of what? Of the wisdom and knowledge of God. How unsearchable are his judgments, and his ways past finding out. Verse 30, I also came out as a brook from a river, and as a conduit into a garden. So here wisdom is likened onto this water, right? The living water, onto a garden. And the garden here would be likened onto us, right? The Lord's garden, which is Israel. I said, I will water my best garden. See, the same one, the garden here is those that wisdom was given to for an inheritance. I will water abundantly my garden bed, and lo, my brook became a river, and my river became a sea. That's the abounding, the increase in wisdom. I will yet make doctrine to shine as the morning, and will send forth her light afar off. So now we have that we are being watered by wisdom. Okay, we have that doctrine shining as the morning. And that's this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that we have, that we teach. I will yet pour out doctrine as what? Prophecy. You see that? And so we're teaching, the words of prophecy, which are part of this doctrine, which is wisdom, and leave it to all ages forever. Behold, what I have not labored, or behold, that I have not labored for myself only, but for all them that seek wisdom. And that brings us to the end of the book of Ecclesiasticus, the 24th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rakha Kodash. Until next time, Shalom.